Good afternoon, Patriot pals. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Let's get into the news. More political fallout comes from the Democrat side as they continue to call for violence across the country, as of course, it's different when they do it right. It's different when people like Maxine Waters stands in front of the Supreme Court and says the court is illegitimate and needs to be burnt to the ground. These are the same people who could get away with calling for violence on their political opponents with no repercussions, because they are the party who controls many of the aspects of the being held accountable, either courts or police, or things like this. They are above the law in their own heads. Of course, corporations aren't going to be holding these people accountable. Nobody's gonna be switching their thing and talking about how we need to hold January 24th. Or, June 24th meetings, or these types of commissions, because Democrats don't ever get held accountable for any interaction, so they can go out there and advocate for all kinds of political violence, and it's okay with the masses of these corporations. Nancy Pelosi. Absolutely losing an over-the-road decision, calls it a dark and extreme and radical. Of course she does. Of course she does. She hates life policy remarks were in response to the Supreme Court overturning of Roe and sending in abortion rights back to the state. Remember, abortion wasn't outlawed. It was just sent back to the states for the state to decide how their state is going to take measures upon that. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said in a statement today that the radical Supreme Court was pushing extremism with a dark extreme goal of reversing Roe v. Wade and preserving the life of the unborn. And it was so extreme to preserve life, but I guess in a Democrat worldview it is. Pelosi said the ruling is a slap in the face to women and it's ripping no way women's rights to make their own distinction, doctor and health decisions, and that women today have less freedoms than their mothers. Oh seeds, more you deem it here. Let's go and take a listen to the remark. Mourning the radical Supreme Court as eviscerating Americans' rights and endangering their health and safety, that the Congress will continue to act to overcome this extremism and protect the American people. Today the Republican-controlled Supreme Court has achieved their dark, extreme goal of return where a woman's right to make their own decision represent them health decisions because of Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, the Republican Party, their supermajority in the Supreme Court. American women today have less freedom than their mothers with Roe, and their attempt to destroy it. Radical Republicans are charging ahead with their crusade to criminalize health freedom. Seeds more you demon seed cope harder. Yes, that is correct. These people don't care about life, they care less, it's all about death with these individuals, Nancy Pelosi and others. All this did again was send it back to the states for states to decide it, and women in the blue states have nothing to worry about. And if women in red states who want to continue to utilize abortion as a contraceptive, then you might want to move to a blue state then, because then you can go ahead and get it on demand as much as you want. But, again, these individuals continue to show you who they are. They are depraved. Individuals who celebrate death because they see death as power. And that's how they view. It's their worldview. They don't want another. We've lost an entire generation of people, I think babies who have not had the chance to actually live the life. We've lost an entire generation. And these people celebrate that every single day. It is their one true cause. It's absolutely very sad. But it was a great day in the United States. Yesterday, 1,000s of babies were saved with just that decision yesterday, as 1,000s of these so-called healthcare clinics shut down because that was their only true business. Okay. So let's talk about the absolutely absurd. It is not a criminal activity, is not a criminal act for the Supreme Court to make any ruling. It's actually the antithesis. It is literally the antithesis of a criminal act. So this Democratic Congresswoman, it's very interesting. I believe she was also in the news for condemning Trump pertaining to what took place in January, and she was basically talking about how there's an extreme conservative element or Republican element within politics that condones criminal conduct and undermines democracy. And you have here we go. Fear turned to a result for Representative Sarah Jacobs on January. So here House Dem Jacobs credits Pence's decision here. Congresswoman Jacobs applauds adoption of commission proposal by Speaker Pelosi. And it's like, yeah, just condones criminal activity. You just like, and this is why nobody takes Democrats seriously. You have a Democrat who has made a huge deal of the January Commission and what took place, which I condemned to Januaries ago, but I also condemned the $1 to $2 billion in property damage, although I support the cause. 2 summers ago, the $1 to $2 billion in property damage, the 19 lives lost according to Wikipedia, the 14,000 arrests, and you had Democrats bailing out demonstrators, and you had Democrats and media giving tacit approval, but of course, Trump, the orange monster, was president then, show that it was just, okay, for all this chaos and mayhem because it was Trump. Well, now you have mashed potato brains. Joe, you have Merrick Garland, you have Democrats in the House, the Senate and the executive now in the Oval Office. So who's condemning widespread acts of chaos, mayhem, criminal conduct? You just heard Representative Jacobs say that the Supreme Court engaged in a criminal act. This is the absurd leap of logic. It is not. They are not telling you what to do with your body. The Supreme Court is not telling you anything. It is saying. It's not in the Constitution. It goes to the states, end of story. That's it. Okay. You cheated Bernie Sanders in 2016. Democrats? You cheated. I had a front row seat to the cheating. It was. He would have wanted that moment in time. You did this to yourself. You wouldn't have 3 liberal Supreme Court justices. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, 3 other Democratic officials were forced to resign. The DNC emails showed that the whole primary was a complete farce and sham. And so Donna, Brazil, Elizabeth Warren, everyone agreed that Bernie Sanders was cheated. Hadn't been a fair primary, he would have won the primary. And even if there were more, even if Clinton got more, it really doesn't matter if there should have been a contested primary, which is what he said he was going to do, and he should have simply made the case. And if they wanted to win, because he did better in polls against Trump consistently, okay, they could have gone with somebody who could have defeated Trump and wouldn't have lost Michigan, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, because Comey wrote a letter. Comey wouldn't have been able to write a letter because Bernie Sanders didn't have a private server. Now Bernie Sanders, private servers with top secret intelligence and classified data flying around. That being said, you did this to yourselves, Democrats. Now Bernie Sanders is a tool of the Democratic Party. He would be the same type he wouldn't be a good president to be steamrolled by the Lincoln Project, the Bush, Cheney and Rumsfeld foreign policy advocates within the Democratic Party. The never Trump Liz Cheney, Kinzinger, Bush, Cheney and Rumsfeld, foreign policy hawks are now embedded within the Democratic Party, and he would have listened to them, and he also would have gone after him. You wouldn't have thought he wouldn't have defended himself. He didn't even acknowledge that he was cheated. Anyway. The point is, Trump opposes the Lincoln Project and never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, and that's how you go from Bernie Sanders to Trump. Okay. But see, the point is that I was quoted NPR, I told everyone Clinton was going to lose. By the way, I want to Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024, or Hillary DeSantis 2024. So I've explained that, but when you have a congresswoman who is making absurd, like when you have a person in Congress who's making absurd leaps of logic, condemning Trump for criminal activity that he didn't commit and condoning giving tacit approval to criminal activity against Supreme Court justices, against innocent people, against the Arizona State Senate last night, where's Congresswoman Jacobs to condemn this? The Arizona State Senate being overrun by demonstrators, okay, or what happened in Buffalo within an incendiary device that could have ended the lives of so many people, God forbid that the building was destroyed. There is so much violence and criminal activity that the left commits, and you have the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security investigating each one of those organizations. And each of these organizations think that they're given carte blanche free pass to just do anything. It's not true. And Democrats turn on other Democrats in a nanosecond, liberals the left turn, they turn on each other all the time. So what's taking place is that now you have to have debate, discourse, dialogue, discussion. You have to have some kind of way to convince Republicans in red states. Democrats need to convince through dialogue, discourse, debate, discussion, politics, that the approach of the pro-life argument is wrong within those red states. Guess what? They might be incapable of that. This is the only thing. This was the most effective tool to get people to vote blue, no matter who. They don't have that anymore. That also led to the dysfunction within the primary. They cheated their own candidate, Bernie Sanders, because they had YouTube pundits, and they had journalists, and they had left-leaning advocates who said, it really doesn't matter. Vote blue, no matter who, too bad. Bernie was cheated, vote blue no matter who because of the Supreme Court, and then you didn't get what you wanted it because the more that you engage in corrupt behavior, the less likely it is that people will simply fall in line. And so by 2016, there were people like me who were lifelong Democrats who said I had enough, I'm not going to be intimidated anymore with the Supreme Court argument. I don't want to vote for never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, and military interventions and regime changes, which are the most important issue, climate change, much less important than that, because you have something called nuclear confrontation. And you have to know something about history. And you have to know something about modern U.S. history, which morally superior liberal Democrats don't really know much about. They think that Facebook ads make them the cold warriors of today. Have you heard the Congress? You heard the representative statements. They are tacitly giving approval, and it's not going to work out very well in the midterms because they're going to lose close to 70 seats. And it's you have to speak dialogue, discourse, debate, use your head and be able to convince the other side. You're not going to intimidate Clarence Thomas or anyone. God bless the Supreme Court justices, all of them. God bless you. Thank you so much.